What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You might be like, hold up, it's not our normal day of the week. You know why? Fans Club Live Show is exactly that. We're live, so we always keep in mind everything that's going on in the world of sports. And this weekend, we had a lot that went on. Listen, we covered the draft on Thursday night. Had my panel of self-proclaimed experts right here with me. They went in, they dissected it, gave their projections, gave our predictions for the draft, and guess what? None of us did real good. It was a pretty difficult draft to really predict. And what's funny is I did see circulating that experts, real experts that work directly with the NFL, that their draft didn't fare much better than ours did. Actually, ours might have been better. I know that some of our my experts were on point. We do have somebody that came out in the lead, so we're gonna make sure we highlight them on Wednesday, get them their guru status for you know picking the most accurate selections in this draft than anybody else. So we want to give them props on that. But aside from all of that, we also had the recap of not a recap, but we had an actual playoff game that took place, the conference semifinals. So it's a lot that's been going on in the world of sports. So what we want to do is make sure that as things happen, as all of these great events are taking place, that we're able to go give a recap, let the world know what we're doing, and let the world see exactly what's taking place. So I want to make sure that if you're not aware of who we are and what we do, this is Fans Club Live Show. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Everything that you see here listed, this is what we do. We are for the fans, by the fans. We are the voice of the fans, and we bring you that real breakdown, barbershop talk, if you want to call it that, talking to your guys in your neighborhood and just being able to unpack it as fans and let them know exactly what we're passionate about. So that's what Fans Club Live Show is, in case you did not know. Now, what I wanted to do was give a real quick, broad, quick sports recap on some of the things that transpired. And we'll resume all of this on our show on Wednesday of this week. So let me explain to you. We dissected the draft thoroughly and looked and seen who had probably the best draft out of all the teams. It's hard to call it. Obviously, it's all selective. It's all based on who you think is the best player and how you evaluate them and grade them and everything like that. But for a lot of us who really know these players, it's hard for us to sit there and, just give a low grade when we've watched a guy 3-4 years really do great work. The draft, just like anything, is a matter of your perception. You might look at somebody and say, man, that player from whatever school that was on point. He's been great. He's a tackling machine. And then for some reason, the NFL draft comes around and that person plummets. 5th round, 7th round, in a lot of cases, undrafted, which with this particular draft was probably the most unpredictable out of all of them. We don't know why. The thing is, we cannot really understand what the scouts are looking for. All I know is the draft got shaken up after like the 3rd pick. And then from the 3rd pick on, it was just it was just chaos. And that's where we are right now. So with that being said, I want to make sure we kind of talk about just a little bit for a couple of minutes some of the key drafts that, in my personal opinion, is moderated. Because as a moderator, I get to pass it to my experts and they be able to go and put their spin on it and their take. And a lot of times I sit and I listen and I might ping pong back and forth. But I'm like, man, I never really get to share it. So I'm like, let me share it today since what happened? The NBA playoff games are done for the day. The next games resume tomorrow. Draft finished on yesterday. So it's a little window in there that allows you to come and just talk about some of the things that has happened. So with that being said, as I mentioned, if you look at the draft boards, everybody, took based on needs. We understand that. I think one of the clear-cut favorites that everybody's been talking about, it would have to be the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, and I'll echo it on the show when we have it this week as well, a live show. Again, Philadelphia addressed their need. Mind you, they're in the Super Bowl. This is a Super Bowl contending team that just added so much value to their roster. So I got to give it to the Eagles and the Eagles fans. This is from me, the moderator, letting y'all know, hey, heck of a draft, because You addressed your needs. You added depth to an already deep lineup. And again, you were competing for a championship. And now I don't see much of a drop off. You replaced all of the same things that you had. You literally were replacing the same things that you had in place. So, congrats to you, especially Jalen Carter, who's a top 5 talent, falling in your lap at number, what, 9? Top 5, really top 3 talent. At one point, he was on the board listed, could be at the number 1 pick. And Philly, you was able to just watch him just slide. And that's the thing with sports, especially when it comes to just drafts. Why we love it so much is because it's unpredictable, and it really gives us a chance to kind of counter what some of the experts that work directly with NFL and all the other big networks, when they put their predictions out there, we as fans can really say, you know what? You might be getting paid by these big organizations, but I might know a little bit just as much as you because I've been following this young man for such a long time. So when you see a person like a great player like a Jalen Carter drop, you're sitting there scratching your head. You're like, how in the world? What? Everybody that's after number 3 could use that kind of talent, but for whatever reason, he fell. And with that, Philly, you got a stud. I know that it's been a funny joke that's been popping around. I've seen a meme where the Eagles and the Georgia Bulldog logos are kind of meshed together, and it's like the Philadelphia Bulldogs, I think it is now, because all of these Georgia players that keep going there. So with that constantly happening, we're wondering, man, what's these backdoor conversations that's taking place that you've focused in and honed in on just one university? Like this one university is interesting. We just want to understand I understand his pipelines, like I've mentioned on our last show that Coach Nick Saban is a pipeline to the NFL because he stays getting players drafted from Alabama, but I didn't know that one particular NFL team had adopted a college team and said, "Hey, you wanna make the NFL?" Direct pipeline. So Georgia, your recruiting is about to be phenomenal if it's not already, because listen, Philadelphia has taken a very keen liking to everything that you guys are putting out there on the football field, and as long as those guys can play, they stand a pretty high percentage of going to Philadelphia and having their career. So I wanted to mention that because a lot of times there's so much to cover and so much going on, but today was a day where it was a little window. NBA's done for today. NFL draft is yesterday, so we had a small window to do just a quick sports recap on everything that happened. But again, I wanted to highlight, at least from my perspective, when I looked at all of the drafts, Philly was just on point. Nolan Smith, Tyler Steen. So they kept addressing everything that they needed, and I'm like, man, as a 49er fan, and I've gone on some of my 49er chat boards, some of my chat rooms, Niner, Bang Bang Niner Gang. I've gone on some of my, pages with other 49er fans, and I've expressed my dislike to some of our picks. We made it up in the 7th round. Thankfully we had a whole lot of 7th-round picks, but that's a really big ask to think that all of these 7th-round picks are going to pan out and become studs. So that's a big ask. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm sure that, we can draft well, but let's be honest, that's a really big ask. So I felt like there was more talent in the 3rd round available for whatever reason. We went with the route that we went, and wasn't thrilled with it. I can deal with the corner. I mean, I can deal with the safety. I'm fine with that. I can deal with everything else that happened in the draft. Tight end, I'm good with that. The kicker was the one that had me scratching my head because I was like, we have 3 starters to replace, and I felt like, based on my board that I felt like we had guys available that had dropped exactly as I anticipated. We had guys that had dropped to the 3rd, 4th, 5th round who I had rated good enough to really compete. But, our management felt different, and they didn't go that direction. They said, we need a kicker. We got everything else. I disagree, but hey, what do I know? I'm just the moderator of Fans Club. But the truth of the matter is, as fans, we sometimes can see some things before management for these actual teams. How do we know? We'll say, hey, don't hire that coach. We didn't watch that coach in college, or we watched that coach somewhere else, and we'll be like, hey, don't hire him. Management don't hear us, NFL don't hear us, NBA don't hear us, and they'll go ahead and hire that coach after that 2 year stint, whatever it is. He's ghosted. He's out of here. And we're sitting there like, we told you he was trash, man. So, just like I guess the person that predicts the weather, you can't get it right all the time. But for us, we eat, sleep, breathe this. So that's why I wanted to do a quick sports recap to let you guys know. Fans Club Live Show is on. Will be on this week. Follow our page if you have not done so already, because if you are a fan of sports, you will not get the interaction like you get here anywhere else. There's a lot of different shows, a lot of options for you, but my panel of self-proclaimed experts, as well as myself, try to bring you right engaged in the heart of what's going on. And we want to hear your perspective, so your perspective is very important for you to share it, but you have to know your team. You have to know who the star players are, who the bench players are, who the rotational players are. Whether it's basketball or football, you can't be a part of it and be a fair weather, because you're going to get asked some questions and we want to see where you are. So for that, I got to give it again. As it relates to the draft, Philly on the NFC side, I got Philly like knocking it out the park. That was a A++ for me. I mean, you can't go wrong with what they have. They just did great. They got what? I'm looking at their draft board now. They got defensive end, they got edge, they got the defensive tackle, so they replaced Hargrave. They got another safety, they got another corner, got another quarterback, another D tackle. They're already stacked. So as I like to say, the rich get richer. Philly, Giants, Cowboys, Washington Commanders. I gotta watch out, man. It's a stacked team. So if we see them again, we got to make sure we've done some more moves before that point, because I watched it. I'm sitting there like, I don't like what I'm seeing. Way too many good moves happening here. They're getting extra third round picks, and they capitalize. So congratulations to them. On the AFC side, obviously Houston would be a really easy choice to go with. But you know who really stuck out to me? Kansas City, we know they can draft anyway. They're just phenomenal at drafting. But for me, if I can be honest with you, the Indianapolis Colts. Oh my goodness. AFC, the Colts. Man, in my opinion, that was a fantastic draft. You got Richardson. It's mixed feelings for Richardson. Some people are not fans. I'll just say that. I'm not one of them. I think he has a really big upside, and I think we can't look at. I don't want to look at what the past is for schools. I know traditionally we look Florida quarterbacks don't always pan out that well, but I feel like he has so much talent, and they'll make sure he has a really good running back. We already know that with Stewart. So it's like, listen, with Taylor, he's gonna do a great job, but you just have to make sure you get the right pieces around him. And I feel like they did that. If I look at just their top three, they took two of the guys that I had on my draft board that I wanted my Niners to take. They took them. And I'm like, man. So first of all, Julius Brents fall into the second. In my personal opinion, Julius Brents is a steal at cornerback. 6'4". The thing is, some of the tall, lengthy corners, their footwork sometimes be a little questionable. They can't transition. The hips be a little tight. I don't see that with him. He moves like a shorter guy, even though he's big. Great placement, uses his body great on jump balls to contest. Like Julius Brents for me, for that secondary, oh man, great fit. Josh Downs from North Carolina. I had him more in the second round, but him going in the third round goes back to what we were talking about, where it's, listen, this draft was unpredictable. Nothing fell as we thought it should. The person that led us in selections that were accurate was only 6. He only got 6 right out of the whole first round. So that lets you know it wasn't I only had 3. So, listen, man, it was unpredictable, but the great thing is it allowed for us as fans to really pick our brains and see who knows their team. So if you were one that seen, if you watched the draft and you like, you know what? I called it. I picked my team. I was accurate. Shout out to you because that's great. I didn't get mine right. Mine was completely wrong. None of what I asked for happened until like the seventh round. But in terms of again with the Indianapolis Colts, between after Josh Downs, they went and they got Blake Freeland, who I had going in the third round. He went in the fourth round out of BYU, and that's a steal. In my personal opinion, that's a steal. So I'm not even gonna go through the rest. I'm gonna stop right there. When they got Blake and they got Brents on top of Richardson and Downs, I'm like, man, their team, their management was on it. They did some really good scouting because those are all potential starters, literally. You'll see, just remember that I got Freeland really high. He dropped to the fourth for whatever reason. My BYU people will be able to chime in on that on Wednesday to be able to let us know why he may have fallen that far because, again, he was in the first round. I remember him being listed potential first, second, first round, early second. To drop to the fourth, we don't know. I seen running backs drop to the fifth round, and I'm sitting there like sixth round. I'm like, how is that possible? But every team has their individual needs, so they know. So we'll see how it pan out. I got some heat on my pages again from my Niner fans that was like, oh man, he would have been gone if we didn't take the kicker at that spot. I got news for y'all. Would have been fine if we didn't get a kicker in the third round. If we didn't get him in the fourth, we didn't have a fourth round. But had we not gotten Moody, I wouldn't have lost any sleep. I'd have been totally fine. I'd have slept like a baby. Wouldn't have thought about it because I felt like there was other needs that we needed to address. But we did them later on in the draft. I just felt they could have been more talented players that literally fell in our lap for us to have taken. But, I don't know. What's your take on yours? How did your team do? Go back and review. Look at your whole draft. You might have had some players that you really didn't know. Let's be honest. Some of the players, we didn't know everybody. We're not going to sit here and act like we know all the players. I don't know somebody from really, really small schools. David even put me up on a quarterback from Shepherd, but he didn't get drafted. But again, on some boards, he was rated higher. Kuntz, for instance, that fell to the Jets in the seventh round. I had Kuntz going in the seventh round, and I was told that was I was totally off. There's no way Kuntz is going in the seventh round because of his size and his production from his junior year, but he got hurt his senior year and he missed the whole season. NFL's real funny with injuries, man. Injuries really can mess up your value. So for whatever reason, that really plummeted him from possible second round, maybe even third, to what? I think he went in the seventh round. So the Jets, if he's healthy, they got to steal, in my personal opinion. But again, my prediction was having him there in the seventh, but that doesn't go for everybody. I was hit or miss on some. So again, that's a quick sports recap on the draft, just in terms of my winners, which I will echo it again on this week when we have our regular live show with my panel of experts. AFC, I have the Indianapolis Colts. I love their draft. I wish that was my draft outside of the quarterback, because I don't need a quarterback. Or do I? Right? Nah, I don't need one. Brock is the favorite, and him and Trey will have an open competition. Hopefully, may the best man win. So Colts is my AFC winner, and by far, without no debate, don't at me. I don't want to hear nothing. You cannot, if you sit there and argue that Philly didn't have a fantastic draft, let's be real, you hating. I was hating too. I was like, yo, what's going on with all this Georgia stuff? But they had a really good draft, and we had to give it to them. So that's what happened. Now, we're here today. NBA, we see what's going on. Congratulations. It was Golden State. Listen, Golden State. Tyrone, you called it, so I know you're going to address it on the show when we have the live show this week. But Golden State in a Game 7 with the young, hungry Sacramento Kings, they pulled it out. But it was not, obviously they're giants, they're defending champions. They're gonna defend their crown, and they defended their crown very well. And now, if you are a basketball fan, you are going to get an early series that would be easily something that would be for the conference finals. You're getting the Lakers with LeBron and AD and all of their star-studded cast, D'Angelo, Russell, they're stacked. And they're going against the defending champions who will not be, let's be clear. I want to put it on air. Let's be clear. Golden State will not be intimidated by LeBron and AD and that roster of, guys that can all contribute in the depth that they have. Golden State has the same thing, and, shoot or shoot. So Golden State going to make it real hard for LA. So that's going to be a good series. I'm not going to make a prediction just yet. It's a little too early to do that because they're just, give them a minute to breathe. They just won today, so we'll see what happens. By the time they get ready to play, I have a prediction by the time we do the show. But in all honesty, this is a series I am really happy to see. I think it's going to be a great one because, LeBron is so big of a superstar that, it could be intimidating. Going against, so even with all of the talking that took place with Memphis and everything like that, Memphis, outside of Ja, they have nobody that is a superstar like that garners that kind of respect. Let's be honest. They got young guys that can ball and everything, but when you talk about big stage, big lights, everybody know who they are, NBA tuned in, the world's tuned in, that's a really big stage, man, to get out there and go against LeBron and AD and really show up consistently. That's why they got spanked that last game, man. That was too big a stage. I feel like for Golden State, no stage is too big for them. They do this. So LeBron, Steph Curry going at it, Klay Thompson, that's AD. That's going to be a great matchup. And we know Draymond's going to make it entertaining. Somebody's getting kicked in the groin. Let's say it right now. Somebody getting elbowed in the chest. You might get a headlock with a suplex. I don't know, but you're going to get something from Draymond. That's entertaining. Flagrant is coming. Let's just put it out there. A flagrant foul is coming somewhere if Draymond's on the court. So, but it will be entertaining. So we'll be good. We'll be happy to see how that plays out. Again, Fans Club Live Show. We will be touching on all of these things in the sports world. We'll be recapping the draft, giving our grades. We're going to get some time to that this week. And then we're also going to touch on the NBA with the semifinal, the conference semifinals. So it's going to be a great show. You have to tune in. You have to be live in order to, catch us. You'll be able to leave comments. And if you are one that shows that you have interest and you like to be on the show on screen like myself and like my panel of self-proclaimed experts, you can do so. But in order to do that, you have to follow us. There's only one thing I ask for you to do. Follow us. And if you do that, you'll be able to be on the show and chime in and give your expert analysis. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube it's the same name, Fans Club Live Show on all those platforms. And then you'll be able to know when we're going live. You get the notifications. And then if you are one that is well prepared, if you're an NBA buff and guru and this is your time of year, we diving in on NBA. So it's coming. So we did that last week, and then we're going to do it again. So we're going to dive in on these playoffs and go through it. KD and Phoenix going against a really good matchup with Denver. That's not a walk in the park. Remember, Jokic, as much as I don't find his game the most entertaining, that's just because I like high flying, dunking all over the place. He's more, he's a big man that has all the fundamentals. He's great. But, hey, man, he can ball. And then, Murray is nice. Him and Booker, very similar players in my opinion. So seeing them match up, that's a really good matchup. So we got some really good matchups. And then for all of my New York Knicks fans, you got a taste of it today with the Heat. That series got so much history back to the Alonzo Mourning days. So seeing the Knicks, they didn't win today, but guess what? It's going to be a really good matchup where we see how I think the Knicks have the toughness to make it competitive. I'm not going to go and give them a win because I do have to put respect on Jimmy Butler's name. I have not been doing that. My panel have been letting me know Jimmy Butler, especially David and a couple of others, how great Jimmy Butler is. I'm not going to go that far, but I will say Jimmy Butler has been balling, and he's turned it up to a whole nother notch. So with him playing at that elite level, not even high level, at that elite level, I don't know if the Knicks have an answer for that. But when you get to New York, it might be a little different situation. But we'll see how that play out. So shout out to the Knicks fans. Shout out to the Heat fans. I know that you guys expected some great things to happen this year. It's possible. And then we got the obvious Boston Philly, that's always a good head clash. That one I'll touch on a little bit more, but not as much because I feel like we've seen that one on multiple occasions. So if I was to scale the ones that I'm most excited about, if I could be honest with you, the one I'm really excited about is the Golden State Los Angeles Lakers series because that one's just star-studded, firepower, big scoring, big names, marquee names, and NBA, like just the faces of the NBA in one game. That's the creme de la creme. That's the one you really want to watch. If I was to go after that one, I want to give it to the KD and the Suns and the Nuggets because KD, like I said, the matchup, KD Jokic, that's a great one. And then Booker and Murray, that's so it makes it even that much more interesting. So yeah, I feel like those two would be second. And I have the Knicks and the Heat as the one that would be rated third as a good. I wouldn't put great. I have it as a good, but could potentially be great if the Knicks respond. Hopefully, the young cast that they have respond, and then it'll move up where I have it a level. I would give it a higher grade in terms of interest level. So, Lakers and Golden State, elite. That's a great series. That's what you tune in. That's a must watch. I'm giving you clues on what to watch. So you're like, man, I can't catch every game. My work schedule. I'm gonna give you what you should watch first. Make sure the Golden State LA Lakers series is the one you find time to watch. You home, you got some time, watch that. You're gonna be entertained. The Phoenix and Denver, same thing, but not on the elite level. I'll give it great. It'll be a great series. It'll be great. You won't feel like you're missing anything if you're watching that. You're gonna get your full of really good basketball. After that, I'll give it to the Knicks and Heat because of the competitiveness and the history with that. It just has an energy about it that makes you feel like it's going to be a good series, and then you see it just a little bit of that display with the most recent game. So that one would be my third. The Boston and the Celtics one, just because of it, seem to be repeated every year. We literally keep seeing these same two teams matching up with each other. That's the only reason why I got it at the bottom as not a must watch, but something to check out. I have it listed as, yeah, check that out. I gotta see more. I'm literally kind of tired of seeing that series because it's literally every year it's like they face each other. So that's just my personal assessment on it. So again, you can go and watch any game you want, but if I was to start, let it be the Golden State and the Laker game. I would like to know, who do you have? I don't know who you have for it. You might be a LeBron. Look, LeBron is the GOAT, isn't in your mind, and no matter what, he can knock the defending champs off. I mean, look, AD is playing at a dominant level, not a good level, a dominant level. It's funny, LeBron walking off the court, not wanting to shake the Grizzlies' hands. Keep that same energy. You told the man old. If you call the man old and you say, you know what? He's an old man. I poke bears. Guess what? You don't want to shake your hand. He did what he said he was gonna do. He addressed them on. Listen, you gotta accept what comes with that. When you trash talk, there's always the possibility that you're gonna have to eat your words. And the Lakers really made it clear to Memphis we on two different levels this year. So yeah, if I'm smart and I'm a young player, keep LeBron James' name out your mouth. Because it's not that, he's gonna just dominate you. It seemed like, this is the key thing. It seemed like the entire Lakers took that personal. Wasn't even so much LeBron. It looked like all of the Lakers, because of the trash talk and disrespect for him, was like, oh, really? Forget bulletin board material. They was like, oh, we all coming out. I'm seeing Austin Reeves with 15 here, D'Angelo Russell hitting like high arcing three-pointers like it's nothing. So, yeah, be careful, man. You don't want to get no fuel. Now, the thing with Golden State, they not going to care about that. They don't really do a lot of talking. Draymond and LeBron are friends, so they're not going to disrespect each other. And AD's the guy that I know Golden State does not have an answer for AD. AD going to get his points. LeBron going to get his points. So it's really going to be about the shooting because we know Golden State going to shoot. That's for sure. They will shoot. So we're going to see how that play out, man. But really great sports weekend, draft, NBA playoffs. It's like that perfect time of year where everything's like meshing, and we like to see that. And we like to see that as fans. It gives us the opportunity to really dive in. So I don't know who your team is. Your team might be out the playoffs. Maybe you're like, you know what, I'm just watching, which is great. Do that. But watch where you have other fans with you, where you are able to give your perspective, give your analysis, and get somebody that might not agree with you. It's okay for fans to not agree. But the great thing is you can share it with somebody that might give you something that you didn't think about. Like, oh, that's a good fact. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. So just wanted to mention that to you. So again, this is a quick recap for you. Fans Club live show, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube. Follow us. Hope to see you soon. And shout out to my panel of experts. I will see y'all soon. Be prepared. We got a lot to break down. So salute to you. Y'all have a blessed one. All right. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And as always, let me get this real quick. Bang, bang, night again. Y'all know what it is. Y'all already know how it go. We gonna do some things. The draft is a little difficult, but we made it up in a 6th and 7th round, so I can sleep. I'm good now, so we'll see how it play out for us. All right, man. Y'all be good out there. God bless. Talk to y'all soon.